What do you think, man? Where should we start? The best player in baseball?
I think the $700 million man. Yeah, I think that's where we start, man.
Yeah,
That's where
that's
we
probably
start.
the best bet. I mean, obviously, everyone knows what we're talking about, right? Like right before the season kicks off, and I don't know, man. It almost seems like a TV show or a movie. I mean, we get all this drama
Yeah.
to bring all
The
the attention.
the MLB script this year is it's a little twisty, man. It's like they got a new showrunner and then they decided to just throw more curveballs, no pun intended,
Yeah,
towards the audience. So
it's kind of hilarious. I almost wonder, like, before we even get into, okay, well, let's say what it is first. Okay, so Shohei Ohtani, who many argue is the best player in baseball, right? I
many
mean,
are saying this. Yeah.
many are saying this. I've seen a lot of players saying it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he won't be able to pitch this season, but he is going to be a hitter. Um, so going into this season, he signs a $700 million deal with the Dodgers. It's crazy. It's all this deferred money. This is enough of itself as a conversation.
Yeah.
But right before the season starts, we get this gambling, scandal that
Yeah.
breaks out over Shohei.
Yeah. I mean that the scandal happened during the games in Seoul. I think it was right after the first game, right? So they've played 9 innings of baseball, and then this news breaks. TLDR is that supposedly Ippei, who was Shohei's translator and best friend and confidant, and like the Robin to his Batman, around him all the time, supposedly stole almost $5 million from him to pay gambling debts. Through an illegal bookie in, I believe, the LA area. And, the story has changed several times already. It changed
Yep.
several times in the first 24 hours. Did Shohei know? Did Shohei not know? Very unclear. So now a federal investigation is happening. The MLB is investigating. Shohei had his statement, I believe it was last Thursday or Friday. Um, or it was earlier this week. It was some point where he gave a statement to the press, to kind of deny all wrongdoing and then basically put all of this on Ippei. Um, so we could speculate all day long till we're blue in the face, but it's a very interesting story to have broken immediately before opening day.
Yeah.
It's a gray cloud over what was hyped up to be a very exciting season, still going to be, but when the star of the league now has this gray cloud over him, it doesn't bode well for the season.
Yeah, and like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Shohei Ohtani, right? Like, I've done videos on him, and people he's a very contentious topic, right?
Yep.
So I like him. I like his story. I like everything that he brings to baseball. I'm all for anything that brings attention to baseball, and he's doing that, right? So I love Ohtani. I love what he brings to the game. The controversy, the story, I think it's interesting. My question to you is like, are we going to get like a legit, you know, look into this, or do you think like Major League Baseball just wants it to kind of go away?
I I think it's going to be more the latter. I don't think that you have a guy of I mean, I say this, if you're drawing parallels to Pete Rose, it's the
Yeah,
easiest example, right? It's
right.
Pete Rose got absolutely blasted for what he did. Now he bet on his own team and on baseball, which is a little bit different. But assuming Otani bet at all, which we don't know yet, but I do think that the MLB will try to hurry up this investigation. I think the best parallel I saw was they talked about it on Fox Sports with 2015 Jared Cozart. I think
Hmm.
he got a little slap on the wrist because he was betting illegally. I think he got like a 5 game suspension, and then they went on their merry way. So Jared Cozart's going to get a 5 game slap on the wrist. Otani might miss 2 games at most, but I think they're going to try very quickly to remedy this on the baseball side and kind of let the federal side do what they need to do.
Gotcha.
I think that's where most of this is going to take place.
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be like a drawn out process though, or do you think it's gonna be quick turnaround?
It's the feds, so they love doing everything, right? But yeah, I think it'll probably take, I could see it at least up to All-Star break, unless it's there's definitive and damning evidence on one side or the other, and it's pretty quick. It seems like they already have some pretty good details. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I that's all to say. I don't think Shohei is going to miss much, if any, time as a result of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope not. I hope he doesn't. And I mean, like I said, I mean, hopefully he's not really involved, right? Hopefully it's true
Hope so.
what, he
Yeah.
came out and said, but we'll see how it all plays out. I guess the
Mhm.
bigger question that comes from this, besides, because I love the drama, I love the storylines, I
Yeah.
love all that kind of stuff. But the bigger question people want to know, especially those playing like fantasy baseball, season long, best ball, DFS, all that kind of stuff is, will this mess with Otani? will
Yeah.
this mess with the Dodgers? Like, will this story hang over them and kind of be a distraction? Or do you think that, Otani's that good and he's this much of he's this weird thing, right? Like he's his own thing. Like you hear all these stories about like how, all he cares about is baseball, being the greatest. That's all he's focused on. The interpreter, kind of kept him away from everything else, like, any distractions, anything that could stop him from being the best.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you think this will mess with Otani? Because baseball is a game of like rhythm and getting into that, flow state and all this kind of stuff. And like, do you think it's going to be enough to disrupt things on this, amazing run that people are expecting the Dodgers to do? Or do you think it's going to be something that they could just get right past?
I think because baseball is such a mental game, you could see a little bit of a downturn for Otani
Yeah.
initially. Again, and you have to keep in mind too, like this Ippei was supposedly like Otani's best friend. Like they were inseparable, like, went everywhere all the time, even before they lived in the
Yeah.
States,
I mean,
right?
calling him an
So
interpreter is like downplaying what he
yeah,
really did.
that was like the baseline of his responsibilities, right? And so,
Yeah.
but that also makes it much more heavy. It's much more if everything is true, it's more of a betrayal against Shohei. So I think there is the mental thing. You have to be ready for a little bit of a downturn. You have to be ready for a little bit of a slump. But I think he'll figure it out. He'll shake out of it. This the first couple weeks might be a little rough. You may see some higher strikeout rates, more ground balls. He may turn the ball over more. You just kind of tend to see that with like the mental game when you get inside your own head. If he gets the yips in the box, it won't be great, but even like bad Shohei is still pretty good in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, I think you might see a little bit of impact on him personally. As for the rest of the Dodgers team, I don't really see it impacting them. I think it may impact Yamamoto purely because Ippei was also supposed to be his translator.
Wow.
This year is something I read a little bit about that too. So that could throw some things off. And Yamamoto already had a pretty rough first outing, so um, we'll see. But I think you've got Freddie Freeman, you've got Mookie Betts, you've got guys who have been around the game for so long in that lineup and on that team. You got Kike Hernandez, who's very much a clubhouse guy, right? Like they'll figure it out. It's the Dodgers. They love to choke in the postseason, but during the regular season they figure it out, right?
Yeah.
That is a team that I don't like betting against as
Yeah,
much as it
no, they
pains me
have
to say.
plenty of, support and, a system in place to hopefully protect from this kind of stuff. And, of everything we hear about Shohei, how dialed in he is, hopefully he can, get past it pretty quickly. But I think it's an interesting storyline to follow. I mean, I
Yeah,
think, on top of the injuries and all this kind of stuff, the new contract, it's just more drama in, Dodgerland, man. So
yeah. It's shocking, some drama following the Dodgers. Can't hard to believe that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I
But
guess that's all for Shohei. I mean, I don't want to, there's, we're going to get news as it goes along. So we'll be able to
yeah,
cover this, all season long until there's some kind of resolution, right? I mean, that's what we're going to do. So
yeah,
we won't stay on it too long. Opening day has a lot of exciting stuff. We don't
yeah.
want to,
There's way other happier storylines
yeah.
to talk about.
Yeah.